Hey Jeff,
So you are close to launching, or did you launch the
I've
Kickstarter?
launched. We're recording on day two of the campaign.
Oh my goodness, I can be like one of those people. I don't mind it when they do it. It's like clickety click, clickety click, clickety click, clickety click. Backer kit or not backer kit, Kickstarter. So what is the name of your Kickstarter?
Elfland, Beyond the Fields We Know. A little long, but there it is. Elfland, Beyond the Fields We Know. It's that's the title of a zine, but I got more than that. I got a zine. I got two like full-size modules. I got a pamphlet adventure. I got a sew-on patch, and we've already hit stretch goals to all the backers are getting an original song by Loot the Body. They're getting bookmarks, and as of recording, we're like $100 away from adding
Whoa,
the
look at
first
you
one of our
go.
stickers.
$7,912.
I did not think I'd be here at this time, but I am very happy about it.
Well, do you know what that means? We need to go to Kick Track to see how rich you're going to be.
I looked at it yesterday and it was like, you're going to get $51,000. I'm like, all
I,
right, Kick
I
Track. I look forward to you being right one day because you are never right.
never see. I think I bet it's even higher now.
Oh, maybe. Or
Maybe
I
not. We'll
mean, it
see.
started slowing on day two, so Kicktrack
Yeah,
might be
you're
adjusting.
trending to $87,000.
Well, hey, I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks notice tomorrow, man. Quit. No reason for the day job now.
Holy cow! Well, congratulations. That's got to feel good.
It does. It does. Day one was like, oh, they really like me, but the day three through everything except that last 24, 48 hours will hit soon when it's the middle parts and you're like, please, I need my dopamine hit. Number go up.
Yes. Come on, dopamine. Come on, dopamine. Yeah, it's very nice. No, that is absolutely great. That is there's nothing more, you know, getting to the I mean, and I think the other thing we all have is we all, I think we talk. You try to keep yours. So you usually, I believe, if I recall correctly, you really try to put your
Stuff
funding
out quick.
goal at
Yeah.
a like what you kind of think you get and what you need to get, not like a little bit lower.
No, no, the funding goal was 2,000 and it was okay, if I make $2,000, I can print everything and I can ship everything and I won't have covered my art costs, but I will have covered, the printing and shipping costs and I'm on my way to covering my art costs. At this point, hey, I'll actually make some
Oh,
profits.
that's right, because
Eh,
you got shipping in here too.
Yes, yeah, shipping's in here too. I try to put stuff out quick, so I mean, layout is almost done. Layout, like 75% of layout is done. People, it's gonna finish on February 8th. I put in here, I'll be able to get folks their PDFs in March. I might even do it like I might be able to get it to them a little sooner than March, but and folks will get printed stuff in April because I've got the main zine done, except for one last page where the OGL was gonna go, but it won't anymore. Um,
This page
I've
is
got
intentionally left blank.
I've got one of the adventures all done. I've got the pamphlet adventure all done. The only one that and I the last adventure, Christopher Robin's Nightmare, because Winnie the Pooh is public domain now. So I had some fun with that. That just got sent to the editor, so that'll enter layout in a couple of weeks. But I'm not waiting on any art. Like I want to get stuff done and out as quick as possible because it's all the prep time is before the Kickstarter for me. That's how I like to do it.
Yeah, it's like fun. The layout looks nice. So the art looks wonderful too. You
Mhm.
must have had some really good stuff going on, especially for the cover and the patches.
Yes, that is by Bruno Prosecco. He also did the Brimstone Cradle and the Hills That Hunger, the cover for that for me, my Weird Frontiers adventure. But he was awesome. He's great. Most people probably know him more so from the cover of Knock issue 3, and it's not out yet, but I saw on Twitter he's doing the cover for Knock issue 4 as well. So He's just an astoundingly good artist. I basically was like, hey, a journey through Elfland is like the theme, or wandering through Elfland, and it'd be cool if a guy was like on a path towards a castle or something. And here's two inspiration images. Do you need more? And he was like, no, I got it. And he just came back with something absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of a combination of I would say the who's the guy from the boy, I'm really losing it. Monty Python. Is it
uh,
Gilliam? The
yeah,
guy did the
Terry
correct.
Gilliam
Yeah, it's
or
almost got
Gillum.
a slight Terry Gilliam with kind of almost a brutalism with a little bit of like a like apocalyptic kind of, but not like in like a earthly apocalypse, but like a weird fantasy, like things have
Yeah,
gone
it's like
sideways kind of.
this is when if you're in the Feywild and things get really bad, this is what it looks like now. It looks super cool.
Well, and I think what it does is it definitely it just definitely sets it apart. So
Yeah, it's not your traditional. I was thinking like, yeah, forests, lots of green, and he's like purple and red and yellow, and it's so eye catching, and yeah, it's really unique.
yes, yeah, and it's kind of like the other thing I'm thinking about too is YouTube's got those. I get suckered in, like the 12 new trending design or 12 top design trends for 2023 and things like that.
My
And
wife was watching one of those last night. It's
yeah,
interior design, but
okay, yeah. So I was looking at the font that's used here, and I can't remember what that was termed, but it's kind of going back to a 70s aesthetic, a
I think
psychedelic
it's called
font.
like Retro Magica or something like that.
Yeah,
But
it works really well. And also, I can't remember. There's another trend. There's two, but it was off of Vasily's dungeon. That weird font he used, that DGN.
yes, I need to pick that up. It's got a lot of good art in there, a lot of good Stefan Pogue art. The better Stefan.
Yeah, it's so it's like of course. Why wouldn't Vasily be on the cutting
Yeah,
edge of trend? He was what's trending in he puts out in 2022 what's trending in 2023 because
yeah.
he's the one leading. We're the wake. So
We're trying to catch up. We're
I
doing it our
know.
own way.
No, I'll never be Vasily, unfortunately. But anyway, that's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
we each
No,
have our own
really.
strengths.
Yeah, yes. Whatever that means. um, the no, so that's really great. I think the problem was I think I've misunderstood, and I think I need to go through this again because what also threw me off when I saw the amount that was funded, and
Mhm.
maybe because there's also I'll just also shout out to This Old Dungeon that you were on, and with Luau Lu and company. I thought this was just a pamphlet.
No, so
I'm
there
like, you
is
made
a
$8,000
pamphlet.
off pamphlets. It's
No, so
like,
yeah, it's the like it's $15 for the PDFs, or it's 35, or well, or you can do 30 for the zine and the adventures, or you can do 35 for the zine, the adventures, and a patch, or 45 for get your stuff signed as well. Just a little extra, thank you. But so there's a pamphlet that is a funnel for Dungeon Crawl Classics, for like the PCs are stolen by a witch, transported into Elfland, and forced to mine. She wants them to mine out the literal heart of a volcanic mountain, and it's like a funnel adventure that you can do in under 2 hours. So it's like nice bite-sized DCC, and also gives you a way to start your campaign in Elfland instead of the normal human world. But then there's a zine that's 48 pages, and it's all about it's your judge's toolkit for adventuring in Elfland. And then there's two level 2 adventures for like, okay, you've got that tool, it's got some adventure locales, it's got some good resources for making stuff up for how a campaign goes. But here's also 2 adventures you can run in Elfland. So like it's a whole package that I tried to make and give people a lot of stuff so that they can actually run a game there.
yeah, no, that's really great. And I think it just goes to show that I really don't really pay attention to stuff I'm listening to.
You know, I'm guilty of that as well. You start listening to a podcast and you want to listen to it. You're listening, right, listeners? Um, and then you start getting absorbed in something else because you're listening to a podcast while you're doing other things.
So I'm at work. I got another project I may be working on with another person. Um, and I was thinking about it's kind of a big project if it works out. And I was thinking about basically, kind of creating a Gantt table. And in my mind, I was going through the Gantt table and how it would be arranged. And I was walking back from the restroom, and there's like a turn to go down to our set of cubicles. And I started to walk past it, and I stopped. And then I kind of like turned, like, is this mine? And one of the gals saw me. She's like, "Did you
Are
forget
you
where you
okay?
sat?" I'm like, yes, I did. It just was gone. I'd much rather be thinking about that than the nonsense at work. But
Yeah, I'm sure you've told me a little bit about what you do at work. I'm also like spreadsheets and meetings all day, you know. Goodness, I wish Kick Track was right and, and I could be doing this all day.
yeah, they just don't realize that things go down after the first 2 days because Kickstarter's new and they're new to this, so they know that they. You think they would just, it would have like a giant salt shaker, and the salt shaker would get smaller as the the
The
project,
days progress,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's like, okay, but
What do you mean it's
yeah,
not a straight line?
yeah, it's like it's just insane. It's insane. Um, so anyway, no, it's like, no, it's great. You've actually really, it's really a fun project. So you also, so here's the other thing I heard. We'll just talk. This is between me and you.
Mhm.
No, I'm just kidding. The talking about project. I think I was talking with another person, and they said that really, in general, the post-apocalyptic stuff doesn't sell as well as the fantasy. And I
Yeah.
noticed you even though you did do the Christmas one, this is a switch. I guess you did. No, that's not true because you did
I
the
did the
multiverse.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's for Mutant Crawl
Or
Classic. So I started out with the post-apocalyptic thing, then I did you're in the middle of the apocalypse Weird West thing, then I went post-apocalypse again, and now I'm finally doing fantasy.
so and so I mean, I guess the question is like, do you think that the do you, like, I know you're shocked, so we're just gonna do the analysis. It's nice to do the analysis of how you did better than you thought you were going to do than the analysis of why didn't I do as well as I thought I should do.
Yes, that is definitely a more fun one to do. I mean, I do being DCC, just looking at Dungeon Crawl Classics and the things that I mostly make stuff for. I've done some other stuff. I did like a rune series of realms and runes, like a solo grid-based game by Spencer Campbell. It's really fun. I did a couple things for Primal Quest, and that's Diogo Nogueira's like stone and sorcery
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, and I'm doing this fantasy thing. I think it's doing well because I've built up a little bit of a following. People like me. I hang out in the DCC like Discord communities and on the subreddit a lot. I post on our OSR. So yesterday morning, day one of launch, when I post on, the various subreddits I think will be good for me. I got, I wrote my title the right way. I did all the right stuff and lucked out, and I was at the top, at the top of the OSR subreddit for a while. So that was good. Um, I may not have gotten there if it was a post-apocalyptic thing. Maybe not, because more people are into fantasy. That's just where more of the TTRPG
Right.
sphere goes towards. And also because there's a lot of different types of fantasy, but there's a lot of different types of post-apoc. Um, but I'm also doing better because I am offering a lot of different stuff. Like my past stuff, it's been like, here's a zine, it's $12 plus shipping or something like that. This is a zine and two full adventures and a pamphlet and a patch. And I've got like the first stretch goal was for an original song that you can hear about the first minute of in the Kickstarter video. So you're not getting it for $12 because there's too much stuff to like that's not feasible as a business person. I have to pay taxes on this. I can't do
Right.
that. So everything costs more. So of course the number will be higher in general. Right now but it's kind of the question of how much it will grow. My last Kickstarters, they've all ended with like between 220 to 250 backers. Right now I've got 211. And so the question is, well, did I get all the people from last time? Is this it?
Right.
Did I already catch them, or will it grow? You know?
And I need to do the numbers for, because I think in some ways you're, at least you stayed with the same system, but you're kind of all over the map too. And I don't know, like what core is, people that buy my stuff is just like, oh, it's a Jeff Jones thing, or if it's just strictly the content, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what exactly it is. And I haven't really I need to do analysis to see, who actually, how many people carried over. But it's also kind of, what's weird is because of backer kit, now I'm also having people buying backwards too. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. You can look at your Kickstarter backer report thing and find duplicates in Excel or something. I don't you could figure it out if you wanted to.
Yeah, even backer kit. I know you say you don't use backer kit, and I'm not going to necessarily. I think at this moment it's working out for me.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get a check at the end, but yeah, I've got to do the full analysis on that. So I pay somebody to help me with the Kickstarter and World of Game Design and Zach Goins, especially help him with the backer kit. I could not do the backer kit by myself because it's just at least I could one day, but right, it's not
You have this is not our day jobs. We don't have infinite time. We have
right.
40 hours at least a week that are towards actually paying the bills. We have a families.
Exactly.
I'm
It's
sure you would
like,
love to figure out backer kit and not pay other people and be able to keep a little bit more money, but you don't have the time for that.
exactly. Well, and I think what it is at least I'm coming out ahead on this. Not necessarily a lot, but there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on. Like for instance, and I need to do analysis. I was putting the shipping on from instead of moving from Kickstarter, like, hey, I'll save instead of paying 10% on shipping, because your
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter takes a chunk out of that.
Yeah.
I'll get it at Backer Kit and only charge me 5. But then I'm looking, if I understand it correctly, when I was looking at the Stripe charges,
It's probably three
if
and a half extra
well,
on that 5.
well, no, it's I think also there, yeah, and there's also if because I also made them if you're only charging a little bit of shipping, because like some I think it was a set amount. I made a mistake. I charged shipping on one and there had to be a little bit of adjustment. But when your transactions are just a few dollars, there's it's Stripe, it's like a percentage plus 50 cents.
Yeah.
So if you've got like 200 backers at $2, your percentage is much higher than if it was one block of people. And so I don't know. This is hard.
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Like,
those hidden fees and transactions, just like everything.
yeah, it's like exactly. The microtransactions, like, wow, like I don't know. So,
Well,
but
I'll
anyhow,
say it. This is a thing probably not that interesting to most listeners, but I was told today online like those like fees you can count those at like keep track of those if you can. Those can be business fees on your taxes.
oh, they are.
So
You
so
no, you definitely should be.
I didn't know that. Last year's taxes should have been a little better for me, but I know now and for
Yeah, basically everything you pay, take everything, everything you. Of course, I'm not a tax accountant, so anyway,
yeah, not legal advice.
everything you bring in, and then it's gonna be in one column, and then everything. Do you pay for an accountant to do your taxes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
then they should be
I'm
taking it
not
through.
that smart.
Then you take all your expenses, And also it's like you go to conventions, you can write that off.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually, so what I had is I had a photography business before. So I've already established, not, it was just freelance work part-time, but
But
it's already
you kind of
established.
knew how things worked a little bit.
Yeah, and I already had the accountants, knew what was going on. So it's just like, okay, switching over. So, I start saying I'm doing this. He's like, so what is this again? Okay. I'm
Dungeon,
printing
it's
books.
just Dungeons and Dragons. I'm making books.
So, but anyway, yeah, everything. So your mileage, your everything. So really everything that
Yeah.
you,
But I
really,
didn't know about those like Stripe fees counted and stuff like that. I didn't know that counted. I knew about the
yeah,
rest.
yeah. It's also very confusing because I just got my statement from Stripe and I need to double check it, but it's like it showed me everything that I got from Kickstarter, but Kickstarter didn't give me that full amount. So it's just like,
Yeah. It's
it's like,
like
okay,
that's
wait a minute.
the
So yeah, so I don't know how that gets reported. It's best to have an account. So, but anyhow, Backer Kit does a lot. You can do a lot with analyzing. You can do a lot of really cool stuff, and it kind of does tell you. But the thing I found is I get weird stuff that goes wrong, and
Mhm.
Zach will be like, who's done a lot of backer kits, a lot of Kickstarters. Zach Goins has done, I don't know how many done, tens of
Let's
them,
call it dozens.
dozens. Yeah, he's like, I've never seen that before. That's weird. I've never seen that before. It's like they had about 3 or 4 tons and 2 Kickstarters. Like, I've never seen that before. That's weird. It's my
It's the
life.
Jeff Jones curse.
Yes. So anyway, but my point is I think if you have where it works out good for me, where it's worked out for me is I need to do full numbers, but I think in general the backer kit's kind of paying for a lot of those services that I had, and even distribution. So I'm having them. They distributed a good portion of Gary's Appendix 1. I'm doing the distribution for Fane, and we'll see about going forward. But anyway, the backer kit is a good way of selling, uh, you know, basic merchandise, and it helps.
Yeah, I'm sure it. Well, I try to have that quick turnaround time, so I've felt backer kit isn't that like necessary to me, as opposed to, if you have a long turnaround because you need the money for actually funding the project more so than printing it. And you have that 6 month or year long turnaround time. Backer kit's definitely more important in that kind of situation.
Well, but it allows.
But
So what it allows you to do is you can customize. So here's what's kind of crazy. Like for instance, let's say you want to do a merchant tier,
oh
and
yeah,
you say you can put in your Kickstarter merchant tier. You get basically 5 issues and it'll be 50% off. And then backer kit, you can put, like, for different levels of backing, you can set up offers for those specific tiers. So if you've got like those people, you could say, you know what, you want more? You can buy another one at 50% off.
the back
And
catalog.
then you could have people, like, for instance, if you got people in the, so if you got people, like, say, in the, a tier that's non-US, you could set fulfillment stuff only for the people that are not in the US. That could be additional stuff, or likewise. I mean, you can customize in a lot of ways exactly what you're offering to him. Like maybe you want to offer t-shirts.
I'm probably gonna do that. People are asking,
Oh,
and I talk to the artist, and I don't know if I'm crazy.
yeah, I don't know. So if you do, I want to know how this goes, because it can go either good or bad. What I would
I'll let
do,
you know. I've so I have an Etsy shop. No one's bought anything from it. I set it up like last week. But and I put like the company logo, the Dragon Peak Publishing logo on a t-shirt, and it's like they handle the fulfillment and inventory. Like I set it up through a service. So
oh,
I don't
okay,
have to deal with like inventory at my, I don't have to deal with like a box of, 30 smalls that don't ever get sold or
right.
whatever. But I'll let you know. I've just started dipping my toes into that.
Well, because I thought about it, but it's just like, boy, it's like what happened. And I think if they're doing it directly, and that's what I was going to suggest, is you could either like, set somewhere where they could just give them a coupon, or something. Because it's just like the other thing is what if what if the t-shirt comes out to be crap? Now you're
Yeah,
dealing in t-shirts like my t-shirt's got a problem. Okay.
does it have an extra hole?
Yeah.
Does it not have enough holes?
So where if you say, here's a shop, and you know what, as a backer, you get like, like 10% off or 15% off or whatever, then that just takes it out of your hands completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, that's very cool. And also Sticker Mule's got a thing where you can get $5 off of a shirt. So I never designed a shirt before. I thought about doing that because I don't have enough going on right now.
No, certainly not. That's why all my stretch goals are things like bookmarks and stickers and posters.
So are you going
and
to fulfill through media mail? Or are you going to go do are you going to do first class or
first class?
okay?
Because I can use a pirate ship to like create all those labels and print them out at home.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and you can't do media mail that way. But you can do first class, and they have a
No,
discounted
you can do
rate.
media mail that way.
Oh, maybe that's new. Last time I did it, which was a little while ago, media mail was not an option
It
that was
is.
available for money.
No, you have to click a special box to unlock it.
Oh, I couldn't find. Well, anyway, I'm gonna have not media anyway. So there's patches. A bunch of people are getting patches. So that's
Well, the thing is, if you send patches or even technically bookmarks, you're violation
yes.
of media mail.
Yeah, I mean, I've just sent first class. If I'm going down to the post office for like one thing, because one backers thing got lost, I'll ship that first, or I'll ship that media mail because it's probably just a book. But yeah, I've generally done first class because the discounted rates through them are pretty good, and getting to print out 200 labels and do that at home. Like you said, I guess I can do media mail if I want. I just didn't know.
Yeah,
But
there's basically a
rates are still pretty
checkbox you
good.
have to do, and it unlocks like a bunch of things you can do. And the only thing you care about is media mail. And this is the only thing that's like media mail in that whole set of options. It's like, okay.
Well, it sounds really well hidden, but I've got so much like swag that I'm thrown in this time. Won't be able to do it. But I
Yeah.
would have before. That would have been handy. I probably would have saved a good bit of money because on my last Kickstarter, I think shipping was, I think it was around $1,000. I don't
Oh
remember
yeah. Yeah.
above or
It's
below, but
crazy.
yeah, it was a lot.
Well, so I was looking at the difference between Fan of the Fly God and Gary's Appendix. And it looks like Gary's Appendix did better, but when you subtract out the shipping, because it wasn't the shipping wasn't the Fan of the Fly God, it's like, there's $1,500 worth of shipping or $1,700 of shipping, more than that. Because that was just what they shipped. I also did all the non-US backers through Lulu, and that was separate.
Yeah, trying to think about that through Lulu is another thing I should tackle at some point. Right now, I've just been telling non-US backwards back for the PDF and send me a message. I'll send you the POD coupon code through drive-through when that's a thing.
So I really hate. So this is what's funny. I thought about making a matrix, and so there's one bookshelf, there's Lulu, and there's Mixer.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I will say one bookshelf by far has the best customer support. Like those people are on it. Like they are on it.
I've had little cause to email them before, but they've been very prompt. It's been good.
But that interface and getting things to work, it is torture. I hate it. Hate. And then and I would say that if you're doing a zine, Mixim is by far the easiest to upload and publish.
So simple. I love Mixum for that. Drive through gets I'm good at using drive through now, but it's
Oh.
not intuitive.
But then if you do Lulu, but if you're doing uh, perfect bound, Lulu's easier than Mixum
Okay.
because what you have to do for Mixum, if you're doing anything that requires a cover, you have to have 3 documents to make the cover. You have to have the front cover, the back cover, and
And
the
the spine.
spine are 3 separate documents.
Okay. I hadn't made a spine through them yet. It's all been staple bound. So, but I mean I see it drive through. It's one document, but the different areas are outlined in their little thingy. But I see the reasons.
And also found out that I got some really bad results, but then I also found out what I was doing wrong. But I also found if you do upload a PDF to drive through,
Hmm.
and then you use that little thing to like view it, the viewer, it will show you
Oh
if it's
yeah.
going to be glitchy when you print it.
It will on drive through? I
Yes,
didn't know
I've
that.
actually had something that came out wonky. Like it was fine on Lulu because did Lulu and drive through, and then and it was like I can't remember if it was the color, something was really wonky, it was off. And then but when I looked at the PDF preview, as far as like if you upload a PDF
Hmm.
and then you as a customer that you view it, it's that it was showing the display, it was actually displaying like it was printing, and I saw the
Okay.
defects that it was going to produce. It's like, well, that's kind of interesting.
That's I didn't think of you being able to use that for the because it's a separate file for the PDF versus the POD.
Yeah, so if
Oh,
you're
but
using the
cool.
same PDF, yeah, it's the same. Your file is still probably the same. You're still using the same output as far as the type of PDF and all that. I mean, other than you're doing an interior versus an exterior. Still,
Hmm.
it's still showing, and that's what allowed me to see what was happening. But I still hate it. I hate it.
I'm gonna try that out next time before I have to order a print proof. So good tip.
Yeah, just right. Just upload the PDF and just view it, and just give that as another layer of and it's also kind of interesting. So for Fan of the Fly God, I can print out PDF or perfect bound books. It's not cheap, but I mean it's not terrible through Lulu. But the hardback, just a single hardback from Mixum with shipping. Can you guess how much a single hardback Mixum with shipping
Uh,
is?
uh like $100.
Yes, $100. Ding, ding, ding! You win.
I printed one copy of my last zine because I was like, well, I just need one, and doing a 56 page zine, you know, half page sized was $60.
So what I've found is this is going to sound crazy because I plan on using them both because I like the Mixum is a better quality
The
publication.
print is nice
But what I do is I end up doing proof copies with excuse me
with drive through
with
or
Lulu, and then I catch the mistakes, at least most of the mistakes, address that, and then I order a proof copy from Mixum.
I get you.
So
Yeah, I did a proof copy from drive through first because that's like $10. And
yeah,
then I did my expensive mix and proof copy, and then I ordered the actual print run. That's how I did it last time. So it's similar way.
yes, because you do not want multiple proofs runs
No,
from Mixum.
no. That will add up real quick.
Yeah, it's quite a mess. But it's is nuts. So I guess the big news, not to be old news, probably by the time it hits for people listen to is this OGL 1.1 nonsense.
Yeah, it's debacle.
Has that affected you in your plans?
It sure made me anxious, but I was like, no, I'm
Yes.
gonna I said it on like another interview thing, but I basically said like I'm too close to this. I want to get it out. I don't and I don't I was like, I don't think it will be an issue. I'll figure out a way around it. But like what I came down to was like, if I have to print it with the OGL, I will disavow it in the same breath. The OGL will be printed on a page that the top says, by looking and or touching this product, do you agree to rip out this useless page? And that would be like the last page in it. So I was like, yes, it's printed with the OGL and it should be torn out immediately. But no, Goodman Games has said, hey, if you're doing a DCC type of thing, the OGL is no longer a requirement. You don't have to put any kind of license in there.
Okay, right.
Put the company logo on front, or the compatible with logo on front. Put the like the legal Goodman Games thing on like one of the first two pages, and and put our compatible with logo on the back. That's all you got to do. So no OGLs, and one of the stretch goal, we'll probably hit it for the night is over. But the $8,000 stretch goal is a sticker that says "No WotC, no Masters" around the
Well,
OSR
we're gonna
logo.
refresh this because you were like $88 away. So let's just
Yeah,
see.
no, it's still there.
Well, if this
But
was
yeah,
live, I would ask people to hurry and
Jeff, let's fake it. Let's fake it. Let's
oh
just
yes,
pretend.
right
Oh,
now
I just
we
did
are
it.
just $88
Oh,
away. If only we can get 4 or
oh,
5 super
thank you.
backers, we'll throw in an extra patch for those lucky people. No, no, that would be yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that sticker's pretty cool. So if you want in on this, on the no WotC, no Masters.
You pick it, get that sticker, find your favorite book that has the OGL on the back, and just slap it over. It's perfectly made for
Oh
that.
man, I see what you're doing.
I
Oh,
mean, it's not going to be big enough to cover the whole OGL, but have some fun with it.
that's very clever. The Yeah, so I was the same way with so I have faith in the Fly God. I right now, as far as I kind of pushed it as a old school essentials, but
Mm-hmm.
it really isn't. It is. I mean, I had the fundamentals. Basically, it was anything that was statted. The bestiary basically is the only thing that really was, I guess, anything close to being tied
Yeah,
with
you didn't
OSE.
use like the. I mean, I haven't looked at it like you, of
Yeah.
course, but you didn't use like the OSE trade dress and how like their modules are formatted.
No, no,
Okay.
no, I didn't. No, not even close to their trade dress. I tried to kind of make it somewhat similar in the mod, but it's a goofy. It's not a traditional thing anyway. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
I backed it. It looked fun.
yes,
I want more Fly Gods.
the the but the so I just took the OGL out, and I'm not going to put the
Mm,
OSE sticker on because it doesn't really matter. I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't really matter, and there's nothing. But man, for Gary's appendix coming to Kickstarter, January 31st, I've got a bestiary, and I took those stat blocks directly from the OSE uh, SRD bestiary. And if I
Eh,
remove the OSE or the OGL, then I'm not in compliance with the with the old school essentials.
you
You
just
know,
tweak a few names. That's all you got to do. Tweak a few
well, I took
names,
the
fudge a
step, and
number here
I
and
took
there.
it's not the I mean I could, but I mean I really did. I did just take, and that's not the most important part of it, but I kind of wanted it where you could
I
open up and you could run it. You didn't have to go to
I
another
know.
book.
I've seen that. I'm kind of joshing with you.
Yeah, but I mean, but I really was like, but I'm with you. It's like if I would have pulled it, I would have had to remove those stat blocks, you know. And now it's like
Well,
this thing's
they're
already.
saying the 1.0 A, if you've already published with it, like you're good. Whether you can they whether WotC says you can still publish with it in the future is still up in the air. But if you've previously published, they're not trying to revoke that.
Yeah, and I'm not, as far as what they've said right now, I'm fine. But like a week ago, I wasn't. Like I was like you, stressed out. Like it was really.
I mean, I still think it's all just a trap.
Oh, it is.
They held a gun to everyone's head and said, "Give me everything you got," and then their gun jammed. and they're trying to clear the jam and apologizing to us at the same time. That's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, to me, what it does, I think the thing is there's a dichotomy, or like two different ways of looking at it. There's things that they can do and things that they want to do.
Yes.
And we didn't think that they could. We never really worried about what they wanted. We didn't think
And
that
maybe they
could.
can't, but they want to try.
But now we know. And we know that first version, I say we don't know, but I say we know.
I
We
mean,
know that
they were negotiating with Kickstarter under that. Contracts were signed with Kickstarter. So let's not pretend that first version was a draft, is what is
right.
my take on it.
Well, and I think that first version too was probably them feeling like they were being generous. And that's not where it was going to stop.
No.
So now we know their intent, even what appears to be their best foot forward, is horrific. And secondly, whether they can't, now that's called a question. And
yeah,
so
I don't have lawyer money like that, so I'll stay away. DCC uses different stuff anyway. They haven't said anything official, but it sounds like they're just going to remove it because they're not really using. They're not
right.
it's not a retro clone, so they're pretty golden. All
I think it's the
considered.
people that have
OC is a
actually,
different kind of issue.
it's the people have integrated the wording. That's where it's going to, those are people, it's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, there's like was it the Tome of Beast? What's the one that was Frog Gods came out? They kind of created it.
Yeah, I think it was the Tome of Beasts. Yeah, where they just did it too. I feel really bad for them.
I don't know,
That's not an
so,
enviable position.
Yeah, and I don't think ultimately, like, you and I are so small, I don't have inventory. I can at any time I can just pull out that SR or that OGL. Not a big deal. And I don't have inventory that is massive amounts of inventory I got to deal with. It's minor. Overnight, everything changes.
But it's already, they said 1.0A stuff is good if you've already published, so they're not going to try to do anything with that. But boy, they made everyone real scared.
But I guess the point is, to me, is here's the way I think about it. At least the way I think about it is, back when they created the OGL, they stated their intent.
Yeah, Ryan Dancy's been very clear about that. Other people who have been in the room have been very clear about it. People have been approached saying, I know it, this and that.
So for him to say, we're not going to do that, really means nothing.
Yeah.
Because they could do it. They could change their mind next year or 5 years.
Yeah. I don't know. We can think about how they're going to capitulate all over the place, and they probably should have just tried to build a really nice walled garden with D&D Beyond and create an environment that people want to be in and lock them in that way. But they tried for more than that.
They did. So what it did for me is, I think as of late, I feel fine with the old school essentials, because I feel with Gary's Appendix, it wasn't old school essentials dependent. Like, it really was a nice marketing thing, but in general, it's just a general zine. It's not so I could have removed that if I needed to, but I would have had to write more I mean, it's pretty much all done. It's pretty much all laid out. I mean, it's going through, it's like going through copy editing. Once that's done, I got just a tiny bit more to write. Yeah. Like a couple paragraphs here and a paragraph or two there, but it's done. It's done. I've
seen your PDF that you sent out to the backers. I got it. Yeah, it looked pretty solid then, and
I'm
sure
no, I'm not saying. I mean Gary's Appendix.
I thought I got the Gary's Appendix PDF.
Well, you that would be the fulfillment of the first one, but this is for Gary's Appendix 2.
Oh, for 2. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I didn't know you had anything but a pamphlet out for your Kickstarter, so it's okay. What I'm just saying is,
my
I'm going to
Kickstarter pamphlet.
Yeah, the fulfillment of that's all gone. It's not a big deal, but the thing is, but for the Kickstarter, that's where it was like, I don't know what's going on. That's where it's like, If it was going to be draconic, I would have had to strip it. I probably would have had to write more content.
Yeah.
And I'm, kind of tapped out at the moment.
No, I get you. I was like, is this going to be my last OGL thing? This going to be the last ride? And if I want to do things from now on, I'm hopping over to Morkborg or something like that. And is that what's happening? Morkborg's cool, but it's not my main squeeze.
Well, yeah, and so this has implications that are even further affect me. So, we're doing you got this work for me on Journey into Madlands too. That was going to be under OGL, so I could just put the old school essential sticker on it. But you know what? I don't need to. If I remove the OGL and remove the old school essential sticker, who cares? It's not going to really affect it.
Yeah, the Gary's appendix is a lot closer to
the
source
but
there.
Here's the other one where the OGL got kind of crazy. I am wanting to do a Traveler-esque zine. So it's
well, Traveler doesn't do that. So where's the OGL come into play?
People use Cephas Engine. Cephas Engine is written using the OGL.
Okay, I did not know that.
They did produce a Traveler OGL, I think, at one time, but apparently I don't know the full history of the story. I need to get somebody on again, but apparently people felt that Matthew Sprang away from Mongoose was getting a bit more like grabby about the OGL stuff, kind of like what's going on with Wizards. So people walled him off, creating the Cephas Engine.
Okay.
And they created an SRD kind of based off of early edition of Traveler, and was able to kind of wall that off. Well, then they were like freaking out because he's like, well, if the OGL is shaky, and that's the OGL Cephas engine's using, then Matthew Sprang, how you pronounce his name, from Mongoose, may be able to do the same thing the Wizards doing and nullify all their content.
Yeah, I see how that gets scary real quick. Ugh.
So if I want to do this Traveler, because I'm not a Traveler, I'm just
it, but you're not like an aficionado.
Yeah, I'm a Vale. You've got this vest, you got the patches, you're on the podcast, you're tied into a community. Me, I just kind of wander down, I sell my wares.
I know. No, I get it. Yeah, I wander in. I'm like, hey, Rune is cool. I like this solo thing. I'll do a Bloodborne inspired thing, and I do that, and then I wander away because I'm like, that was fun to do. I didn't make any money off of that, but that was fun.
Yeah. So the Traveler thing, I got to hit. I think if I get it like launched, like I don't feel like what I'm putting in the zine. I can strip out the OGL. I can put character, because the stats of a Traveler is a string of numbers, or it's actually hexadecimal. It can be hexadecimal, so it could be A58399A2. Okay, I can put that in there.
Yeah.
World generation, same sort of stats. I can just do a planet, people know, and I can just tell what the planet's like. I don't have to do that. For skills, I can put Blaster 3, jump, ship weapons 2, whatever it may be. I don't need anybody's permission to do that. But I really do need is recognition when I first put out that zine, and for people to say, "Oh, that's a Traveler zine," even if it's got a Cephas stick. I know what that is. That's where
I mean, you can find ways. For example, right next to me here, I have Oz, the setting thing, which is kind of written. It's compatible with the 5th edition of something,
right?
But the 5th edition of what? Is there an OGL to be found? Well, let me flip through the back. No, I do not see. And actually, no, very wrong. There's the OGL.
Yeah,
but it uses all the stuff. Actually, this uses more than I thought. But it's it gives monsters things like this is their good saving throw, this is their bad saving throw. I've barely looked at that. I've looked at the Neverland one more so, but you can find ways around making content for something is the point I'm trying to make without, you just have to be slightly vague.
Well, but my point is the value is once you put that sticker on there, Cephas engine, it signals to everybody exactly what that is.
Yes.
And it signals to traveler buyers, oh, that's a traveler product.
Yeah, you have to be dialed into a community and really a part of it to like get people to notice you if you aren't able to do that.
So that's the reason for the shift is I wanted to get a couple issues, one issue out at least early before anything gets mucked up with that. So at least I capture a portion of the audience, because once you get them captured as far as buying once, Backer Kit
Yeah, they're
or
way more
Kickstarter's
likely.
they're gonna send them, the email. So that's the reason for me making a very hard shift from being something, as you saw, was it's a lot of it's a lot of the initial work's done, but to something where it's like, I gotta get this other one figured out quick, and I don't even know the name. I don't even know the name of the zine. I really don't. And there's a lot of things I haven't figured out. I haven't figured out the layout. I haven't
You
figured
got some
out.
concepts and a few
Yeah,
paragraphs
yeah.
here and there. It's all up here.
Yeah, I got
Um,
people writing some stuff, but then I gotta like, it's just I had to clarify, and so that's a hard shift.
here,
And
we can here. I got kind of a segue. Do you want to hear my bad traveler story?
yes,
So, I bought the Mongoose book, gosh, like 15 years ago now, I want to say. It feels like that. It probably wasn't quite so long ago, but I bought it, I read it, couldn't ever get my friends to play it. Last year I got to play Traveler for the first time, and I did not have a good time, unfortunately. Which the buy-in was, you're not adults. We're going to use a different thing. You are all have some kind of illegal psychic genetic thing. No, and you're in this traveling ring ship that moves around so that you can't be caught because it's illegal to be psychic. Um, it was a Stranger Things ripoff, is what it was. We're all the little psychic kids with 11,
uh,
and I was like, okay, all right. Hey, this might be fun. Hey, a ring ship that hey, that's cool. Oh, and the two different rings, they go in opposite directions and whatnot. Oh, okay, this is neat. Um, but we don't have like the full stats because like we're like between 11 years old to 17 years old, so we don't. I can't explain it better than that. But we aren't doing the normal character creation. We also have these psychic abilities that are randomly determined. It was like 45 minutes just to get our characters set up, which is not the most exciting start to a convention game.
no.
And then it was an hour and a half before we like took a little bio break, and that hour and a half was entirely, oh my gosh, three assassin droids have come here seemingly to kidnap us. Easy to figure out real quick. They've killed everyone else, but they're only trying to use stun guns on you. You need to use your powers to take out these assassin droids. Your powers require you're going to do have very minimal effects unless you basically take these drugs that essentially let you have better than normal stats. But you get diminishing returns. But on an average thing, you're able to do 1d6, maybe 2d6 damage to a droid with your special powers. You don't have any kind of weapons like that. Or maybe you can try to do like a Nightcrawler thing and bamf them outside the ship and then bamf back in. But if you want to do something cool like that, you better take a lot of drugs that turn. Um, I had like some fire powers, pyro stuff. So if I didn't take any drugs, 1d6 of damage is like all I can do. But I might be able to get up to 5d6 if I take a bunch. There are three of these assassin robots. In this kind of scenario, how much health do you think would be a good amount of health to give these assassin robots for, fun combat?
Oh, so you're basically doing 1 to 2d6. I would say a 6 could be pretty challenging, and because either 1d, because that's just your average for 2d6. 1d6, you're probably not going to take them out.
Yeah, your
I would
average
say
damage is 3-4.
Yeah, I would say 6, and that would be within average 2 hits. You would take something out.
How about 75 health?
Yeah.
So that was like the first half of the session. And when it was like, oh, hey, does anyone need a bio break? I was like, yeah, I grabbed my stuff and was like, what else can I do before my next game? That was my bad traveler experience. First time I've been able to play it.
Yeah, and it's what's strange is that you know God bless him for that, for the concept, but like, why
Yeah,
would he use Traveler?
I don't. I'll
It's the
also
only
say,
hammer he in his toolbox, I guess.
yeah. Later, another player at that table came up to me. He just saw me in the halls, and he was like, "Oh, you were able to get away. You good job."
Yeah.
He wanted to, but he didn't for some reason. So it wasn't just me. So now we can
Yeah,
now we can gripe about something that's not the OGL.
it's just, it is crazy that, and I think most of my, I'm trying to think, I don't think I've had very many of those. I don't think I really have had any of those types of experiences.
It was strange. It was not what I expected from Traveler.
Oh, I've had some really weird, like I had something weird go on with an Elric game that was it was whack. But it was fine, but it was not what I was expecting. And it was just weird, but it was fine. And but I think, to me, you're going to a con, you know, it it's kind of weird to do something that weird with, because I mean, you're either going to get people that are there because they don't play Traveler, and they're like, hey, it's
Yeah.
my opportunity to play Traveler, and you want the Traveler experience,
Yeah.
or you get people that they just love Traveler and they're not going to really enjoy a system that doesn't really fit. I mean, he should have used Fate.
I don't feel like Traveler is the game people are like, yes, I want a session that's 100% combat. That's not really the draw of Traveler, or necessarily its strength.
It's been stated that combat is considered a failed state. That's
Yes.
if things are being pulled, it's things have gone not right. It's like, yeah, exactly. But no, that is strange, but who knows what goes through people's minds. But again, it may be the only hammer that he had in his, it's like,
Maybe.
it's like, all I've got is Traveler. I got this idea. Sounds cool in my head.
I can't stop binging this show over and over. I want to do Stranger Things. But not
Yeah.
Stranger Things. I want to do this specific part of Stranger Things. He kept on the upside down part of the space ring. He was like, "It's the upside down." And I was
That's
like, "Oh
crazy.
man, you're really into this."
I so I'm thinking about doing a series of well, actually going back to kind of change the subject a little bit, but I was also thinking about with what so I was talking to Tim Shorts a while back,
Mhm.
and he talked about the RPG zine. He says, he kind of was wishing there'd be more people putting stuff up that would be more like helpful stuff, and not that there's anything wrong with us, putting Kickstarter stuff up there. So I kind of thought about maybe doing so you want to make a zine kind of thing,
Like a
but
guide to make like a zine about how to make zines.
well, no, just made short YouTube videos, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
I was like, that's
thank
very
you for
meta, Jeff.
clarifying. The or forcing me to clarify, but so I've got this. So going back to the sci-fi, the sci-fi thing, I really have a very
Mhm.
specific look I was wanting. I've got artists that are doing different stuff. They're all really good artists, but wasn't really what I wanted as far as what they're putting out. Because I know whatever I'm setting, I need to capture the audience and provide the feel exactly the way I want it.
Yes.
So I started looking through artists and different stuff, and it was kind of a hassle. So then I put in and this is I think a tip that's both good and bad, but I put in, there's a thing called Upwork where you can hire people. You can put out job
Okay.
postings. And one of the things they stated was, you can either do it per hour or you can do for the project. And then they ask, what's your maximum project amount? So I thought,
Hmm.
like, if you could get the best person you could possibly get,
Yeah.
like just knock out of the park, if it's, Arthur Adams, the comic book illustrator, or Frank Miller, whatever it may be, you're like, but still, it's like, it's gotta be reasonable. Like, I can't, like, what's the most, if I can get the best person, but there's a point where it's like, yeah, Frank Miller, I would love to have you, but I'm not going to pay, $12,000 for this.
I would love to have Stefan Pogue do my cover art. He's great. I would but I've asked him what his rates are. He's quite expensive, deservingly so.
Right.
And
Exactly.
it's like, for a Kickstarter, I don't know how well my Kickstarter is going to do. Is
I
doing
know.
well.
Right. Exactly.
And even if it does really well, it seems to be doing really well now. I like to have a profit margin still. Like, I've put a lot of work into this too. It's at about 8 grand now. I'm not keeping 8 grand. I'm not keeping close to that.
No.
Um,
But so I set to the very maximum amount they'd be willing to pay. And then it goes out to, and then they posted that as the amount.
mm,
And so all these people are like, and I'm like quite a bit more, not quite double what I normally pay. Well, I'd say it's like almost twice what I normally pay. Like, and then all these people are posting like to that maximum amount, and their stuff is like not good. It's
yeah.
like,
No, I know sometimes there's those calls for commissions. I see them on Twitter, and I'm like, I don't say anything because I'm not one to be mean. I'm not one to hurt people's feelings, but I'm just like, you charge that for that?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. And again, it's not that, and I'm very happy with people who've done covers. I got phenomenal covers. Everybody's great. It's just that
Yeah.
I was really wanting a very specific look, but I end up, we'll see how it goes. Time will tell.
I hope well. Yeah, I've been happy with every artist I've worked with. There, some it's easier than others, but like every piece of art I've gotten from someone has always been amazing.
But for the price that I posted, which was high for RPG, but not like very high, for others, I got
Mhm.
some people that have put off, or put their offer, or at their offer, whatever their
Are they
acceptance
supposed to
level.
like bid down on each
No,
other or
no.
no? Okay.
But there are some people there that are like very, very, very good. And I would say, yeah, they probably are worth definitely every dollar, but it's not what I'm looking for. But it's like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of other Kickstarters. They're doing some really cool stuff. And if I was doing that stuff, I'd hire this guy. Like this guy's done, like for very big, one guy did some very big magazines, but it was very, but it's very, what's what I'm looking for, very much Titan. But my recommendation is, so I did find somebody. In fact, they actually went almost fit. They were asking almost 50% more than what my budget.
Oh,
And I said, well, yeah, I said, your stuff's amazing, but realistically, this is why
yeah. I'm
your
not
stuff
trying to
is
be a
amazing.
cheapskate. I'm just like
Yeah.
my expectations have been measured accordingly for what
So,
I can do.
and then he's like, well, he asked me some stuff. He knew what I was doing. I created have a website. He looked at the website, I think. He's like, I can do it for what you're asking for.
Yeah.
Because I think he's kind of excited about doing this stuff. And I looked at his stuff, and so I was afraid he might be a poser. I hear stories about this.
I've heard a few. Haven't had that bad experience, but I've heard a few.
Yeah. So, but the stuff he's said and doing, I don't think that's the case. But I thought, well, it's worth the risk. So we'll see. But anyway, if you guys are looking for and you can't find, you're gonna get all sorts. And there's a lot of people I'm gonna maybe try and see if I can use later on for spot art or different things like
Mhm.
that. But try Upworks or Fiverr. I think is probably another one.
I like keep a watch out on Twitter. There's also I think it's r/OSR new art on that subreddit, and then there's also a Discord server I'm on. What's it called? OSR new art. It's probably not public because it's probably not that big, but I keep an eye out for folks, and I've got like a Google Doc list that'll have like, okay, this is their Twitter name, or this is the contact info I've been able to glean just from looking at their stuff online, spotting something where it posted, and here's a picture of theirs, so I remember what their stuff looked like, and I sometimes I go back to them, and sometimes I just go and message an artist that I've worked with previously. But that's how I found it out. Just looking online and keeping a poorly organized Google Doc.
Yeah, it's it is hard, and you spend a lot of time. You can spend a lot of time
Mhm.
with just the what's the word I'm looking for.
Looking for someone with the style that you need to occupy the space that you have, because I'm sure traveler art has a different kind of vibe than fifth edition art, for example, like, you know, or cyberpunk red art.
Yeah, I think it's just the amount of the cognitive load it takes is just it just adds to the everything else that you're doing. But oh my goodness, it's just it's hard. But anyway,
What, project management?
oh, it's
Yeah.
terrible. I've had to go and do so I've taken Gantt charts, stripped out the charting, and just used the tables, the expanded tables. It's just like, this is insane. It's like, well, because if you've got Kickstarters, you want to have certain things done before. The problem is, if you're a sane person, you do like 1 or 2 Kickstarters a year.
Yeah, I'm gonna do 2, maybe 3 this year. Well,
Yeah,
I'll go
3.
back to the post-apocalypse at some point. I got a candy mountain in the post-apocalypse that people have had a lot of fun playtesting.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think the thing is I think what's also nice of what you're doing is, I think you're definitely you're creating a that's what I'm looking for. You're creating a vibe or a style too. I think that will
Mhm.
transcend and carry.
Well, here's hoping. But yeah,
Yes.
the Elfland stuff. I mean, Elfland stuff's been going well, but I'm sure the next thing this is the big one. Like, I don't think I'm gonna do, like, said, zine that's 48 pages long, pamphlet, patch, uh, all the stretch goals, and a double feature like adventure module that with like a Winnie the Pooh 100-acre point crawl and a Beauty and the Beast inspired manor style dungeon crawl. Like, I'm not going to be doing all that every time. That's so much. It's a lot of work. The next one will probably be one adventure, but uh,
Yeah, I
we'll
think
see.
my goal is, and I don't know if it's, I would like to retire from my job.
And do this part. I remember, yeah, you've mentioned before, do this part time. I like that dream too.
So,
I
but the
like
thing that,
that dream for me.
so what I'm doing is, I thought, well, if I can do 5 Kickstarter while I'm working this job,
Mm.
I should be able to easily do 5 Kickstarters when I'm not doing this job.
I would say, do you need to do 5 Kickstarters? Can you do 4, and one of the Kickstarters is just bigger?
Yeah,
Because that money that's going to shipping, there is like exhaustion from backers who like your stuff and they want to come back every time, but they've paid you $50 in just shipping this year.
yeah. I don't
So
know. That's a good question. I've asked other people about that question. We're all kind of trying to figure that one out.
that's part of the reason why this one is multiple things, because I've handled all my fulfillment myself. It's not a super fun task putting things in boxes all day long. And people don't want to pay that much for shipping. So I'm trying to, it won't be all of them, but I want to do more large, at least large for me size Kickstarters to yeah,
I
ship
think,
less and make people pay for shipping less.
yeah, the ideal would be is 2 Gary's Appendix, um, a 2 Gary's Appendix, and to do the Journey of the Madlands, and to get at least 1 Traveler Zine out. So I think there's enough of a mix to
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I don't know that
You're
people.
hitting different kind of TTRPG demographics.
And the other thing is, the problem is, and as you've probably noticed, is I don't always have things figured out. Like Gary's Appendix, I pretty much have figured out. Like that's pretty much, I got a
Mm,
stable of writers. They produce a certain amount of work. I got the layout all figured out.
yeah.
But there's others that's like, and I think if I can get enough writers and I get enough things figured out, it's easier. The more writing I do, and the more chaos I have in my head, the harder it is.
Well, we'll see if you can do, I don't know. Hey, people Traveler is like Mothership, at least in the sense that it is a perfect opportunity to have a in-universe patch that is like tied to a corporation in the Traveler universe. So you got your swag opportunities. You can make a little pamphlet adventure and have multiple stuff together and have a legitimate reason to have a bigger Kickstarter.
Yeah. Yeah. I think yeah, I don't know. It is all. The other thing is, the reason I want a lot of these out is I'm gonna try various I'm called probing actions.
Mm-hmm.
So the Traveler zine, I think with just a minimal amount of effort, it all of a sudden can turn into a Mutant Year Zero or a Year Zero engine zine. So people could use that for Alien. They could use it for Coriolis. And so the so that's one thing. I got another thing I'd like to get done. But it's like I could go OSC, but I also wouldn't mind trying the cipher system.
Yeah.
And then I could actually do a Kickstarter that would strictly be like what you're, like I'm gonna try this for the Year Zero engine. I'll do a Kickstarter. All the art's bought, all the writing's done. It's just that then all of a sudden it's like, then I can actually safely go ahead and dip my toe, set a funding level that I really want. And if it doesn't reach it, it's like no big deal. So
it seems to be working for me at least. But yeah, if you're gonna do 5 a year, you need to also get them out quick, because otherwise Kickstarter won't let you do more. So you got to come pretty prepared.
yes. Yeah, it may not be viable. So we'll see. But anyway, I think we're hitting the time space continuum.
Tis so. I see the wormhole looming.
Yes, we don't want to get sucked into the wormhole. That would be bad.
It's not my favorite way to vacation.
No. I hear you. So anyway, I would say good luck on your Kickstarter, but it looks like the rabbit's foot's already in the pocket and working. So
Thank you.
now we'll just wonder, see how far it goes. So I would think, man, if you could do double that, that would be sweet.
I was looking at Levi Combs' recent one, that is occurrence at Howling Crater, and that he basically did like 6,000 on day one and did and a little bit more than doubled it. So, and that's about where I sat. So I'm hoping, I got Elfland Beyond the Fields We Know, big zine that it's got like 6 adventure locales and items and curses and traps all about Elfland, and I got a point crawl that takes place in the 100-acre woods. I got like I said, the manor crawl that is, more you want your dungeon, but it's a manor, but you run it just the same as any old dungeon, and then small bite-sized funnel. And so I made all the things so you can start your campaign in Elfland. You got all the connective tissue with the zine, and you got 2 full adventures. So I tried to put together a real pretty package for folks.
Well, great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, and we'll see how this year winds up with your other 2 Kickstarters. So
Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot more work to do before I get those working.
no rest for the weary. Well, what's funny is the other night I'm working on stuff, and I get a message from Levi. He's like, "Hey, got a backer kit problem." Okay, we started discussing stuff, and it's like, "Thanks, man." I'm like, this is what it is. Everybody else is, enjoying movies, doing stuff, and here we are on a Monday night, just like working away, like trying to figure out printing issues and why files aren't loading, and just like, oh my goodness,
it's a glamorous life we live. and we get to go to conventions and eat like crap for 3 days, and come home and feel rejuvenated, but also kind of sick.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, you take care, and until next time, mister.
All right, next time, Jeff.